Kamala Harris pledges break from Biden presidency in testy Fox News interview. Kamala Harris said her presidency would not be a continuation of Joe Biden's presidency. In a testy interview with the right-wing Fox News channel on Wednesday night, as she criticized Donald Trump over his continuing threats against the enemy within. The 25-minute interview, conducted after Harris held a rally with more than 100 Republican officials in Pennsylvania, was the first time Harris had sat for a conversation with Fox News, which has been a consistent supporter of Trump. Bret Baier, Fox News's chief political anchor, is seen as a straight news counterbalance to the vitriol of Fox News's evening shows, but still came with a laundry list of right-wing topics, including immigration, the rights of transgender people, and Joe Biden's performance, as Harris attempted to sell herself to the channel's older, largely Republican, audience. Harris was asked if there was anything she would do differently from Joe Biden, as Baier played a clip of the vice president, in a previous interview, saying there is not a thing that comes to mind that she would have changed. That response has become an attack point among Republicans as they seek to tie Harris to the unpopular Biden administration. Let me be very clear. My presidency will not be a continuation of Joe Biden's presidency, and like every new president that comes into office, I will bring my life experiences, my professional experiences, and fresh new ideas. I represent a new generation of leadership, Harris said. For example, as someone who has not spent the majority of my career in Washington, D.C., I invite ideas, whether it be from the Republicans who are supporting me, who were just on stage with me minutes ago, and the business sector and others, who can contribute to the decisions that I make. Baier pointed to polling which shows a majority of Americans believe the country is on the wrong track, and asked Harris why they were saying that when she has been vice president since January 2021. Harris suggested the polls show a fatigue with Biden and Trump, given the latter has been running for office since 2016. Harris noted that several high-profile former members of the Trump administration now believe that he is unfit to serve, that he is unstable, that he is dangerous, and that people are exhausted with someone who professes to be a leader, who spends full time demeaning and engaging in personal grievances. Baier asked why, given those criticisms, Trump has support of half the country. He added, "Are they stupid? I would never say that about the American people. And in fact, if you listen to Donald Trump, if you watch any of his rallies, he's the one who tends to demean, and belittle, and diminish the American people," Harris said. "He's the one who talks about an enemy within. An enemy within talking about the American people, suggesting he would turn the American military on the American people." Trump had appeared on a Fox News town hall episode which aired earlier on Wednesday, where he doubled down on his comments about the enemy from within. He characterized this alleged internal enemy, which he has said should be handled by the military, as the Pelosi's and his other political opponents. The former president had reacted furiously to the news that Baier would be interviewing Harris, posting on social media that the anchor was often very soft to those on the cocktail circuit left, and falsely claiming that Fox News has grown so weak and soft on the Democrats. But Baier, while being an alternative from the more radical nighttime hosts such as Sean Hannity and Jesse Waters, largely stuck to right-wing issues. He played a Trump campaign ad, which he suggested was among the few political ads to break through this year. The ad quoted an interview with Harris in 2019, when she said she supported surgical care for trans prisoners. Trump has spent tens of millions on anti-transgender advertising, but Harris brushed off the issue, pointing out that under Donald Trump's administration, these surgeries were available on a medical necessity basis to people in the federal prison system. And I think, frankly, that ad from the Trump campaign is a little bit of like throwing, stones when you're living in the glass house, she said. Polls show Harris and Trump effectively tied in most swing states, as both campaigns seek to convince voters before November 5th. Harris's appearance on Fox News came amid a raft of interviews over the past week. She was interviewed on CBS's prestigious 60 Minutes news show, sat down with the crowd from The View Talk How, appeared on the Call Her Daddy podcast, and on Tuesday spoke with radio host Charlamagne tha God. Harris is also reportedly in negotiations to appear on Joe Rogan's podcast, the most popular podcast in the U.S., which has a large following among young men. Trump, who refused to take part in a second debate on CNN with Harris, has said he will appear on Rogan's podcast. This was Harris's first sit-down interview with Fox News, although her running mate, Tim Walz, has appeared on the network multiple times. Pete Buttigieg, the transportation secretary, has been a regular presence on Fox News screens, with his calm responses to sometimes hostile questions frequently going viral and delighting Democrats. In a time of increasing misinformation spread by bad actors, extremist media and politicians like Donald Trump pushing the strength of democracy to its limits, real, reliable journalism has never been more important, and we're proud to be able to share ours widely thanks to the generous support of readers like you in Bangladesh. The Guardian believes that access to trustworthy information is vital for democracy. By helping fund The Guardian today, you can play a vital role in combating the bad faith and self-interest of those who spread lies to undermine democracy and stoke political division around the globe.